What's up, guys? Welcome back to Digital Dive-In, the proper gaming talk show, where we dive into the latest news in gaming every single week. It's your boy, Freezing Cold Monkey. It's cold. Look, if you can see out my window, it's snowy. It's ridiculous. So I'm giving you a winter dive-in today. Not really, because we're going to be diving into the only gaming news that's been anywhere. If I can fix my camera, anywhere over the last 2 weeks, and that's Cyberpunk 2077. So Cyberpunk 2077 launched last week. Yeah, last week. And immediately people got hit with glitches, bugs, crashes, you name it, it happened. Mostly on current gen consoles, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox Series, or Xbox One X, or Xbox One rather. A lot of the crashes didn't happen on PC or next-gen consoles. However, even on next-gen consoles, we saw a good amount of glitches, just goofy-ass graphical glitches, and even some on PC, I believe, as well. Honestly, this scale of a game, you're going to see a good amount of glitches. However, the fact that this game has been in development for so long, got delayed so many times, there's not a whole lot of, I want to say, excuse for these glitches, unfortunately. I'm one who is here defending Cyberpunk 2077. I have since I got the game, but even when I was streaming it, I hit a buttload of issues and got really upset by a lot of it. Just the quality overall is just not great. However, the story bits and the gameplay are still a ton of fun. I'm having so much fun with the story. So far, I got hit with one twist that was absolutely heart-wrenching. I was like, oh my God, why? No. The gameplay so far is very quick. It's snappy. It's smooth. It's fun. I actually like the shooting. The driving could use a little bit of work. Driving's not great, but this is also their first crack at driving. So I got to give it to them for that. It works really, really well. Obviously, every other game they've made, they've had a horse. So the fact that the driving is this good from their first crack at it is pretty impressive. I will say that I think that driving is actually better when you're in first person mode, especially for the motorcycle, because when I went from third person to first person, I couldn't do anything. I don't know why. I think I was just hitting the brake too early or too late. But when you're in first person, everything's right there. You can see a lot better, and it's just easier to maneuver. I'm not going to give a full review of the game because I think I guess it's fair to do a full review right now because most places will do a review of the game as is. However, I do think that, I'll get to why I think there's so many glitches and bugs right now a little bit soon. But for now, I will say that my personal review of the game, I would give it a 7 out of 10 just because of how many glitches there are. There's a lot. There's a lot of bugs that need to be worked out, and they will get worked out. Of course, they've already released a good amount of patches to the game, and in an apology they wrote to fans, they did say that they will be putting out 2 big patches, one in January, one in February. Now, they also said that they were guaranteeing and promising refunds to the game, which Sony so far has not been honoring, even though they said they would. And they said, and CD Projekt Red did say that if for some reason gamers weren't able to get a refund through their, the place where they got the game from, they should reach out to CD Projekt Red for a refund. However, again, they promised something they cannot give. And I think that's they're trying to renew trust in gamers, in themselves for gamers, and it didn't really work out well because they were doing something that I don't know if they just didn't think it through and didn't think that they were going to be able to do it, or if they were just playing online. I don't think it's the latter. I think they figured that they would be able to offer these refunds and everything, and then found out later that no, they couldn't, and it is what it is. So that's kind of disappointing. Personally, I'm not going to refund the game. Of course not. I'm still having a crap load of fun with it. I have experienced just a handful of I have experienced a crash every single time I've tried to stream the game, but it's only when I stream the game. When I'm playing it by myself, I only had one crash, and it wasn't that bad. It was, as soon as I turned it on, it was kind of a weird kind of just. I was like, okay, what, why? But ever since then, whenever I just played it on my own, I haven't had any issues with it. There's bugs galore. There's bugs everywhere, and I mean, I have a very high threshold when it comes to bugs. So I don't really care. It's kind of goofy at places, but all in all, it's not horrible. I think my biggest gripe with the game is the fact that they don't really tell you what they're doing in terms of difficulty. So I was playing on hard originally, and it's fucking hard. I bumped it back down to normal just because I was having such a hard time with it, because like enemies are so much more powerful on hard than they are on normal. And then you come up to these randomly extremely difficult enemies, and if you're on hard, it's like a one-hit kill. It's like, what the heck? And you don't even know their like level, the other enemy's level. And there's these random like icons above each player or each enemy, but they never tell you what those icons mean. I had to dig into the game and go into this like the settings and everything and see what everything means, because I haven't done that yet. So it's probably in there, but the fact that it doesn't tell you right out of the bat, it's kind of like, hey, if you die, sorry. So that's probably my biggest gripe with the game are the randomly like stupid powerful enemies, and they give you no warning. It's just like, oh, okay. Like I was streaming yesterday, I was like putting like clip after clip into this dude, and he just chilled at half health. I even went up and started whacking him with my sword, and nothing. It did nothing. It hit me once with a shotgun once, and I was dead. Dead. Okay, God, I spent like 5 minutes shooting this guy, and then like another minute whacking him with a sword, and still he was just taking it. He's just taking it. So I was like, okay, this is kind of stupid. So I think that could have been optimized a little bit better in the game. But other than that, the story so far, like I said, is great. I'm loving it. I'm loving the characters. There's some parts of the story where I'm just like, wait a second. What happened here that led me to this point? Like, I'm not really sure. I had to go back and watch parts of my stream or just a cutscene to figure out what happened and why it happened and where we are now. Because everything happens so quickly, you don't have time to absorb everything. So it's kind of, it just goes fast, man. But all in all, I think it's a very good game, but it has a lot of issues. So to the people out there that are calling this an unfinished game, or the game is crap, or nah, I don't agree with you. I 100% do not agree with you. I think it is a fantastic game that has issues. I know for a fact these issues will get fixed within the first few months. CD Projekt Red is not a developer that is just going to leave you high and dry on a game. Kind of like Anthem. Anthem, you got into the game immediately, that game was bad. And it wasn't so much because of like glitches. Glitches can be fixed, okay? That's the thing people need to understand. Glitches can 100% be fixed. Story issues in the game and gameplay issues in the game cannot, because they're built that way. So Anthem was a bad game from the start. The story was boring. The characters were so dull. The narrative was bland, extremely bland, especially for a BioWare game who has made their money on intense, deep, awesome narratives. The entire Mass Effect trilogy is filled with them. But then you get Anthem, and the narrative is crap. Like, why? So that game was a bad game from the start. It didn't even matter with the glitches. The gameplay was fun, even if all the enemies were just bullet sponges and carbon copies of each other and didn't make any sense to begin with. Like, the enemies just did not make sense, okay? And then the story on top of that just makes it bad. But for Cyberpunk, the only bad thing about this game are the graphical glitches and issues within the game. Everything else is awesome. Everything else is great. Story, characters, gameplay. all of it is fantastic. And even the graphics themselves are awesome if you're playing on next gen or PC. If you're playing on a shitty PC or current gen, yeah, it's gonna be crap. All right, you're gonna get frame rate drops. You're not gonna get the HD quality that you would get on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or a high-end PC. So that's where that lands. And going back to what I was previously saying about the issues, the reason I think it plays better on next gen and high-end PCs, I think, is because while the game was built for current gen, like they're originally just going to release it on current gen, all right? But then they got closer and closer to the launch of next gen, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. They delayed the game 3 times or more, I forget. And I think, I heard a noise. I think during those delays, they were trying to optimize it and almost rebuild it for next gen to make it run even better on next gen. To, really take advantage of the technology and the power that comes with next gen consoles and next gen graphics cards and processors. But while they're doing that, while they're optimizing, rebuilding, whatever they're doing for next gen, they forgot to keep that standard for current gen. So current gen kind of got pushed to the side a bit to make room for next gen. So I think for that reason, there's that optimization issue there. Like there's such a huge gap between PS4 and PS5 or Xbox One and Xbox Series X or whatever. It's this huge gap between your two experiences. Depending on which one you play, you're going to get a vastly different experience. And I think it's because during those delays, they just pushed current gen to the side. And I think that was a huge mistake. Honestly, I think they should have pushed it into 2021. And I think this is also an issue that a lot of developers will have when you're developing a game for close to 10 years. A lot can change within 10 years. A lot of technology is going to change. And if you're building this game starting off with the technology you have and then slowly integrating new technology, and then you have to re-optimize every single time. If you miss one step, you're screwed. So you're gonna see a lot of that if you're developing a game for a long time. And developers just have to remember that. I don't remember how long The Witcher 3 was in development. I don't think, actually, you know what? Let me check. How long was The Witcher 3 in development?
3.5 years.
There you go. The Witcher 3 was in development for only 3.5 years, while Cyberpunk was in development for 8, I think. 7 or 8. And probably at this point, The Witcher 3 is a better game. It runs better. However, they have had time to go in and fix all the issues. I think the funniest glitch compared to The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077, the most common glitch I've seen, are the cars act exactly like Roach. It's like, what is happening? And I think even more so in Cyberpunk, just because you're getting so many, cars. You're getting so many more methods of transportation other than just that one horse. So you're going to see you're going to basically take everything that happened with Roach and multiply it by 10. And that's basically what's happening in Cyberpunk. It's kind of ridiculous. The one time in my stream, I got into my car, or I got out of my car. I logged in, I loaded up the save, I got in there, and there's a dude standing in the middle of my car. I got in my car and started driving away. He stayed clipped in the car. I had a buttload of cops behind me. And then I got in my car, and the whole thing just flipped and exploded. It was kind of freaking insane. I was so confused about what was happening. I had no idea. I think another thing that, before I get into that, glitches suck, okay? But there's some parts in the game that aren't glitches that I don't like. For example, certain ways that NPCs just pop up out of nowhere or change randomly, that's probably a glitch, but still, I think the biggest thing, besides the randomly powerful enemies, are that cops just tend to just spawn out of nowhere as soon as you commit a crime. There's just like, boop, boop, boop. As soon as you shoot someone in the face, there's plop, 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 and then you're in a chase. It's like, okay, you were, what? It's really annoying. It's really frustrating. But there's only happened to me a handful of times, like a very couple of times. And I think that's also a glitch. It's most likely a glitch, but I'm not entirely sure. I can't be sure. Either way, it's just annoying and stupid. Some parts of this game, I don't know. For the most part, I'm having a lot of fun with it, but there's other parts of it I'm just like, why is this even happening? Like, why is this a thing? This should not be a thing. But I'm not going to get into all that right now. Overall, the story, fantastic. Gameplay, amazing. Even the shooting, the combat, the melee, all awesome. I think the weakest part of the combat is the hand-to-hand combat. Like, it's not there really. You're just punching, blocking, punching, blocking. That's all it is. That's all the unarmed combat is. So, I mean, there's not really a whole lot you can do. I would love to see a first-person martial arts game. That would be freaking insane. But of course, you're not going to see that in this game. The gun combat is on point for sure. I like how snappy the aiming is. The aim assist is good enough that it doesn't just, automatically give you headshots every single time. The weapon variation is also pretty cool. After a while, it starts to look like Borderlands, where like there's a lot of just different iterations of the exact same gun. And honestly, I didn't expect this to be as much of a looter shooter as it almost is. Like, you pick up a ton of stuff on the ground, and it's kind of wild. But it also gives you a chance to break it down and use those parts to upgrade other guns that you really, really like, or clothes, or anything. I will say the character customization personally wasn't the best. And I think that's a lot of people have been saying that. It's okay. It's nothing special. It's just okay. I am going to be doing 3 different playthroughs. I'm doing Nomad right now. I'm going to do Corpo next, and then last is Street Kid, because Street Kid just sounds bleh. But I'm sure it's pretty good. But either way, no. I love the game. 7 out of 10 right now. I will give an updated review of the game in February once the other huge patch drops, and the game. Hopefully, the game will just run smoother and run better. But until then, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But that's just me. I know a lot of people are hating on the game. Guys, don't hate on the devs, okay? They're doing their best. They really, really are. It is finished. It just needs patches. It wasn't marketed bad. They were just showing it as best as they could on like how good it could run. And that's what most devs do. I mean, they're not gonna just promote the game using low tier shit. Like, who would do that? Honestly, nobody does that. Sometimes devs might show the game running on each platform, but for the most part, you won't see that until you get reviews, until the game is released and you start seeing reviews and gameplay and stuff like that. So they apologize for that. But I think that was a non-starter because every single developer shows the game running on the best software, best hardware there is. So, honestly, I didn't think they needed to apologize for that. But anyways, that's just my take. What do you think? What are you guys thinking about Cyberpunk 2077 right now? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are kind of in the middle? Are you looking forward to the patches? Are you going to get a refund for it? Could you get a refund if you tried to? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Of course, if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell so you can notify whenever these videos go live. Also, make sure to check us out over on Twitch because I'm going to start moving all my live streams over to that platform instead of YouTube. Trying to expand the space a little bit, the audience a little bit. And YouTube can only take us so far. So I'm going over to Twitch. I'll record all of my footage from my streams and then upload it to YouTube. So you'll still get regular videos. I might not upload them every single day. It all depends on how much time I got. But the one thing you can 100% count on are these weekly dives into gaming news, as usual. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Stay excellent. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.